So what are the best sales tips over the phone 2021? Converting on camera will be everything in 2021. The basic principles of sales will never change. However, with the various ways COVID continues to affect our economy, businesses in every industry will need to learn several new skills. First, they will need to effectively identify and connect with ideal clients using social media. The nuances of nurturing and qualifying leads will no longer take place door to door or phone to phone, but in DMs and PMs across a variety of social media platforms, so understanding how to do that will be increasingly important over the next 12 to 18 months. Lastly, it will be important for businesses to master live video and sales conversations online. Whether selling to thousands of people in a Facebook group during a launch or one-on-one over Zoom. Having mastery over the skills required to convert on camera will be absolutely critical if you want to thrive during 2021. The first few times you make a cold call, you're going to be nervous. This is especially true if you're a new salesperson who has only ever contacted leads you emailed with first. Even some seasoned salespeople can feel that a cold call is daunting. When you're nervous, you tend to talk too fast, stumble on your words, and forget important points. None of these are good if you're trying to make some cold call sales. If you talk too fast, your prospect might not be able to decipher all the points you're trying to make. You're practically talking over yourself and your anxiety. If you stumble on your words, then again, your message is not clear. Finally, if you forget important points, then the prospect is not getting the whole sales pitch. Why would they say yes to buying your product or service? They don't have the entire picture. It's okay to be nervous, especially if this is your first cold call, or if you're new to sales. However, you cannot act jumpy when talking with a prospect. This is where a script comes in handy. Example of a script. Hi, this is Jack from the Virtual Sales Academy. How are you? We're working on some solutions to help you recruit and train a new generation of salespeople. Is that something you'd like to hear more about? If yes, there are two ways companies work with us. We can either help them find salespeople for a percentage of the base salary, or help them train new salespeople with our online, on-demand, virtual sales training programs that teach them how to take prospects from curious to client. Which one would you want to hear most about? They choose one or the other. Awesome. Can I ask you a few questions first? I ask them qualifying questions so I know what to present. I'll tell you a bit more and then, if it makes sense, we'll set up an appointment before we get off our call today to go over it in more detail. Sound good? From there I tell them more about the program, just enough for them to agree to set up an appointment, and then go into my appointment setting script. This is a very basic script and I will tell you the techniques for you to enhance your call. Let us dive into the 15 best sales techniques for closing your sales. If you aren't practicing these sales techniques, it's pretty much a guarantee that your sales conversion rate is disappointing, so follow me to the end of the video so you will not miss anything that help you in your sales. Number 1. Tell a great story. Your sales pitch needs to tell a story, with your client as the protagonist. A clear and convincing story that describes how you and the client partner up to tackle a major problem will help them wrap their head around your solution, and make it easier to say yes. When you find a story that resonates, turn it into a template and plug future clients into it. Before going on, if you feel that I have given you some value, please help me by smashing the like button, subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell. Number 2. Put yourself in the buyer's shoes. The problem with many sales presentations is they focus way too much on your product and your company. The buyer doesn't care about all of that. You've got to put yourself in your customer's shoes, and ask yourself, if I had my client's problem, what do I want to hear from a salesperson? What would convince me to pull the trigger? Do a little role playing with a colleague, and play the part of your client who is responding to questions on what matters to them, and what product they're looking for. Number 3. Magnify their pain. People don't buy anything without a clear and burning need for it. It can't be a nice to have, it has to be a need to have. As a result, you need to magnify the pain you know your client is facing. Maybe it's thousands of dollars in lost revenues, or maybe it's hundreds of hours lost on slow equipment. Either way, the pain has to be acute, and you have to show you understand it. Always translate a pain point into something that correlates with money lost for your client, whether that be actual revenues or something valuable such as employee efficiency. Number 4. Handle top objections immediately. If you've been selling this product long enough, you can probably immediately list the top objections your clients usually have. The best way to handle these objections is to be proactive, and address them early on in your presentation before they even come up. Write down every objection you can think of and come up with an answer to each. Memorize them so you will be prepared if they do come up. Number 5. Contact a lead immediately. Much like red-hot iron plucked from the furnace, your leads grow colder by the minute, so as soon as you get one, you need to make contact. Studies show that prospects contacted within the first few minutes are much more likely to convert than ones you waited hours to call. Salespeople often have to get psyched up for a call, but this costs valuable time. Memorize one cold opening line, and then just practice picking up the phone immediately when you come across a lead. Number 6. Keep contacting them. Too many people make a couple of attempts to contact a lead, and then scratch them off the list. To be successful, you need to be a little more persistent than that. A study by Velocify found that you should go for around 6 attempts to contact a lead. When you finally get a difficult to reach lead on the phone, politely ask them at the end of the call as an aside when the best time to reach them is. Don't forget a follow-up email. Number 7. Avoid calling midday, but go for midweek. Timing is very important to sales. A study by Lead Response Management found that the best time to call is in the early morning or late afternoon, which makes sense because your prospects are probably busy in the middle of the day. As far as what day of the week, go for the middle, Wednesdays and Thursdays. Mondays aren't great for making calls, probably because people are trying to wrap their head around all they have going on. Research found that Tuesdays are bad too. Contact clients between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m., and again between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. It's good to block off those hours each day for client calls. Number 8. Show your unique value. Yes, you have a solution, but so does your competition. What do you bring to the table that's different, or what extra benefit can you provide? If you don't find your unique value proposition, you'll just be another company on a list in the prospect's mind. Brainstorm with colleagues to determine the one unique thing you bring that nobody else does, and feature that in every future pitch. Number 9. Be armed with a range of closes. When it comes to closing a sale, you've got to be like a top-flight NFL running back, pivoting and cutting back as objections come flying at you. If you have only 1 or 2 closes, you're going to get tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Use CRM software to keep track of closing techniques you use, and which are most successful. Choose the 10 most effective ones and use those almost exclusively going forward. Number 10. Show why things need to change. Even in scenarios where you have no competitors, in reality you do have competition. You need to show your prospect why he or she needs to change. If you're selling a software solution, and the prospect uses pencil and paper, you're competing against that tried and true process. So you need to do more than show the benefits of your software. And you need to also show why the customer needs to ditch the old way of doing things. Your client undoubtedly has frustrations about the way they currently do things. So spell that out at the top of your pitch. Number 11. Always be positive. Nobody wants to buy from a grouch. A good salesman must exude positivity all the time, no matter the circumstances. You've got to believe you'll make the sale, and that you and the client will be partners for a long time. Your customer can sense that, and it will make them more willing to trust you with their money. Which is ultimately what you're trying to accomplish. Practice casually smiling. Look in a mirror as you rehearse a pitch, and make a note of times when you appear dull and uninterested and replace it with a smile. Number 12. Brush off missed sales. This is an offshoot of the Be Positive mantra, but it applies more to yourself. Even the best salespeople close less than half their sales, and in some industries a close rate in the single digits may be perfectly fine. Some fish are going to wriggle off your hook. And you just have to shrug your shoulders and move on to the next one. Do something simple like snapping a rubber band on your wrist to reset your mindset when you walk out of a failed sale. This is a tried and true technique to move on mentally from a setback. Number 13. The customer is right about everything. Never argue with your customer. Just don't do it. Whatever they say to you, no matter how wrong it is, you need to find some way to agree with them, and then pivot toward why your product would still be the right choice. For example, if a customer says something like, "Improving my employees' efficiency won't help my business," you should counter with something like, "You're absolutely right, just boosting efficiency isn't enough." You also have to channel that efficiency into something productive. And here's how we do that. Leave your ego at the door. You don't need to be right, you need to make a sale. Keep that perspective, and respect whatever the client says. Remember to put yourself in their shoes. Number 14. Take your client by the hand. I don't mean this literally, but too many salespeople are way too passive when making a sale. A client expects you to tell them what to do next, whether that means starting a trial of your product or making a purchasing decision. A customer is always looking toward you for leadership, and the moment you abdicate that responsibility is the moment you lose a sale. When there's a lull in the conversation indicating the customer is waiting for the next step, quickly jump in to propose what the client should do next. Number 15. Be flexible. You should always be ready to shift price and terms depending on your customer's needs. If a customer tells you they can't afford $12,000 per year for 50 employees to have access to your product, you need to have a proposal ready that, say, sets up a monthly payment plan, or drops the price and puts half the employees on a more basic subscription. Consult with members of your team, and determine what flexibility you have in pricing and terms. Hope this video helped you to close more prospect in 2021 and beyond. And if you like my video, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel and comment down below. I will be making more videos like this. Thank you.